For University of Illinois Extension, I'm Todd Gleason. Well, ever since USDA released the Prospective Plantings report back on the 31st day of March, many have been wondering if farmers will decide to switch a few corn acres back to soybeans. A higher price of that crop seems to make this more likely. Farmers told USDA in March they would plant about 82.2 million acres of soybeans this season. This is 1% less than last year and 1 million acres or so less than the trade had really expected. Well, prices have rallied since then, and University of Illinois agricultural economist Darrell Good thinks that 1 million acres could be back in play, but that it won't really change much.
Yeah, I tend to think there will be some modest switching given the price reaction we've had since that report was released. Soybeans are considerably stronger than when the survey was done, and corn prices are steady to a bit weaker than when the farmers were surveyed. So I wouldn't be surprised to see up to 1 million acres perhaps move away from corn to soybeans or perhaps some other crops.
Darrell Good and colleague Scott Irwin in Illinois put together a supply and demand table for this year. They added 800,000 planted acres to soybeans, putting the figure at 83 million even. Well, it's important to note that while the Illinois projection uses a larger planted acreage figure, it also includes a much lower average yield. Good says there are two reasons for this.
Our calculation of trend yield for both corn and soybeans would be a bit less than USDA's calculated trend, so we start a little lower than they start. And then we continue to monitor the El Nino episode that tends to be fading pretty quickly right now, and that suggests to us that we may have an elevated risk of below trend yields this year. So we start with a lower trend yield on corn, 166.2, and then I'd want to fade that 3 or 4 bushels in my expectation right now. We'd start at 45.2 bushels on soybeans and fade that a bushel or so based on the El Nino.
USDA will release its first projection of the current growing season supply and demand tables May 10th. Those numbers, most assuredly, will not yet update acreage, nor are they likely to include a deviation from trend line based on summer weather predictions. For University of Illinois Extension, I'm Todd Gleason.